What if your fear of rejection is actually a case of mistaken identity, where you're confusing your sense of value with other people's opinions? And that by the end of this video, you'll discover the key to unlocking your potential for a genuine connection. Stay with me because I'm about to share something with you that can transform how you navigate life's challenges and build meaningful relationships. By the end of this video, you're going to uncover a hidden factor behind your fear of rejection that might actually surprise you. If you're ready to start your journey towards emotional intelligence and self-empowerment, hit the subscribe button now. Welcome back to Deeply Understood, Life Decoded. I'm Michael Mojica, and today we're diving into a fear that silently shapes our lives, and it's the fear of rejection. This fear ends up leaving us feeling disconnected, vulnerable, and almost stops us from finding authentic relationships. Think about the last time you wanted to ask someone out, or apply for a job, or maybe even tell about your creative projects. You might have felt tense, anxious, or even a little bit nauseous. Maybe your mind got flooded with bad outcomes before you even knew it. You probably talked yourself out of taking action numerous times, all to avoid the possibility of hearing the word no. But here's the thing. What if I told you that your fear of rejection isn't even about rejection at all? Stay with me because this realization can be the key to unlocking a level of self-understanding and emotional fluency that you've never heard of. By the end of this video, you'll understand the hidden factor that's been holding you back from putting yourself out there. This will be critical to your personal growth and can even transform how you approach relationships, and it's probably not what you think. In the next few minutes, you're going to gain an insight into your fear of rejection that most people never realize. Once you start to understand this, you can start shifting how you approach opportunities and find authentic connections almost immediately. If you ever held yourself back because of the fear of rejection, you're not alone. So share a quick comment below about something you've experienced. Your story might just help someone else to feel less isolated and encourage them to overcome their own loneliness. So let's break this down. When you face a possibility of rejection, it's not just a thought. There's a physical reaction. Your heart starts to pound and your palms start to sweat and your mind races every possible negative outcome. You might feel scared, apprehensive, or even a bit nauseous. It's as if your very need for belonging is being threatened. When this happens, your body is on high alert. Your nervous system kicks into action and starts acting as if there's a threat to your social connection. And then it kicks into overdrive. This response actually goes deeper than just your emotions. It's getting primal. Our ancestors relied on social acceptance for literal survival. So even the slightest hint of rejection triggered a full-blown stress response. When you're in a situation where you might get rejected, where you're facing rejection, your amygdala, which is your brain's alarm system, lights up like a Christmas tree. It floods your body with stress hormones, and it prepares you to either fight, flight, or freeze in your own insecurities. And the rational part of your brain that's responsible for emotional intelligence will start struggling to get the right words, which is why logic goes out the window when you're facing rejection. Now, here's where things are going to get really interesting. When you were small, you probably experienced moments of rejection or exclusion that left a lasting imprint. Maybe you're the one that didn't get picked for a team, or your crush ended up turning you down and everyone else knew about it. Or maybe your mom and dad was always too busy to pay attention when you wanted it. These experiences might have left you feeling hurt, sad, or even a bit resentful. What you might not know is that your body stored these experiences and created a blueprint for how to react to potential rejection up to this day. Right now, I'm about to share something that completely changed how I view the fear of rejection. I'm going to let you in on an insight about your body's role in shaping your social courage and your ability to form authentic relationships. The key to overcoming your fear isn't to ignore these physical reactions or to try to force them away. Instead, it's about understanding them, accepting them, and learning to move forward despite them. When you feel that rush of adrenaline or that knot in your stomach at the thought of putting yourself out there, try not to fight it. Do your best to acknowledge it as your body's misguided attempt to protect you. If you're able to be aware of this, you've taken the first step towards emotional healing and personal transformation. You're actually able to recognize these reactions, and that means you're on the path to greater self-understanding and emotional fluency. What we're talking about right now is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a much deeper reason behind these reactions that we'll get into soon. Our human fear of rejection is deeply rooted in our evolutionary past. Now, imagine for a moment our ancient ones that lived in small tribes. A time when being accepted by the group wasn't just about feeling good, it was about survival. Being rejected by the tribe meant you're going to die in a world full of predators and scarce resources. By keeping this in mind, you'll empower yourself on your personal growth journey. And before I move on, if you're finding value in these insights, please give the video a thumbs up. It helps other YouTubers find my content so they can start their own path to self-empowerment. All right, so let's just come back to modern times. We're not facing the same life or death situations anymore. And at the same time, our brains haven't gotten the memo yet. That's why asking someone on a date or pitching an idea at work can feel as terrifying as facing a predator that wants to eat you. Our need for connection and belonging is still just as strong, but the consequences of rejection doesn't mean you're about to die. Whether you believe it or not, your brain is still treating social rejection the same way it does physical pain. The studies have shown that the same areas of the brain light up whether you've broken an arm or you got your heart broken. According to the body, pain is pain. This is why rejection can leave us feeling hurt, vulnerable, and even feel like we're physically wounded. By knowing about this evolutionary perspective, it gives you a powerful advantage in navigating life's challenges. And I'm just about to give you even more insight that most people never realize about their own reactions to rejection that can start to shift how you approach social risk and build meaningful relationships. All right, so here's the good news. You're not doomed to be controlled by your ancient instincts. Being aware of them is just the first step in your personal transformation. The real magic happens when you start to condition your brain's responses and start developing your emotional intelligence so that you can easily and effortlessly create authentic connections. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Remember that question I asked earlier? What if your fear of rejection is actually a case of mistaken identity, where you're confusing your sense of value with other people's opinions? If you're ready, let's go ahead and unpack this profound misunderstanding at the core of our fear. We've been conditioned, like well-trained animals that respond to a bell, to equate our worth with external validation. We're constantly checking an imaginary scoreboard, tallying up likes, compliments, and acceptances to determine our value. But let's be real here. This belief is the very root of our paralyzing fear of rejection. When we pin our self-worth to this external validation, we become as vulnerable as a house of cards in a windstorm. Every potential no becomes a threat to our very identity. The real issue isn't our evolutionary instincts or past wounds. It's this flawed understanding of where our true value originates. So let's get to the heart of this mistaken identity. When rejection is waiting for you around the corner, it's scary because we're carrying an unhealed part of ourselves. Maybe it's an existential need for acceptance that's been left hungry and starving for it. Or you're still waiting for unconditional love that's never been fully satisfied. These unmet needs become sore spots that rejection seems to target with cruel accuracy. And now, I want to flip the script for a minute. What if I told you that other people's responses to you are more like a mirror reflecting their own inner world? And it's not actually a measure of your worth. They're usually acting based on their own fears and insecurities and past experiences. It's their movie, and somehow you're just a supporting actor. When you know this, it will liberate you, just like finally seeing through a magician's trick. And all of a sudden, the power of rejection begins to fade. It's an absolutely necessary step in quieting that noisy inner critic that's been mistaking other people's opinions for your true value. The truth is, it's not about you. It's about the other person's own experience and their unique lens on the world, where they're doing the best they can given their capacity in that moment. The rejection isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a snapshot of their own limitations or circumstances. When we're being rejected or just being scared of it, we usually criticize ourselves for being too sensitive. We might feel a wave of embarrassment or a burning shame at our own reactions, but what if the sensitivity is your body's wisdom speaking? It's carrying the emotional echo of your past rejections, the mountains of time you felt unwanted or not enough. Think of it this way. When you fear rejection, it's as if your inner child is bracing for disappointment. Your little one is holding on to and confusing past hurts with present reality. The solution isn't to scold this part of yourself or to try to ignore it. It's about listening with compassion, offering comfort, and gently reassuring yourself of your inherent worth. This self-compassion isn't just some feel-good fluff. It's what nature intended to happen in your emotional healing journey that will build authentic relationships. It's about reconnecting with your true identity that is completely separate from the opinions and judgments of other people. We've just discussed a profound truth about the nature of rejection fear. It's a case of mistaken identity, where we've confused our intrinsic worth with a collection of external opinions. And if you want to explore more insights on personal growth and deepen your understanding of your true self, hit the subscribe button, and your journey towards genuine connection and self-discovery is just beginning.